Let me take you on a journey through one of the most haunting stories in the world of darkness, the tale of the Garou in Werewolf the Apocalypse. Imagine the earth itself as a living being called Gaia, whose lifeblood is shared with all creatures. Long ago, Gaia set three primal forces in motion: the wild, the weaver, and the worm. These forces aren't gods, but the very cycles of existence. The wild embodies chaotic creation and change. The weaver embodies order and structure. The worm embodies entropy and decay. For ages they maintained a balance, but over time that harmony broke. The worm lost its place in the cycle, twisted into pure corruption, and began to consume the world. To keep that balance, Gaia birthed the Garou, shape-shifting warriors who can move between the human world and a spiritual realm called the Umbra. They can take many forms: human, wolf, and monstrous hybrids. They are creatures of rage, an inner fire that fuels their power but threatens to overwhelm them. The Garou stand between two worlds and belong fully to neither. Humans fear them, spirits demand their service. Gaia herself charges them with a sacred purpose: protect her from the growing influence of the worm. In the oldest legends, the Garou failed that purpose early on. They took it upon themselves to cull humanity in a brutal purge called the Impergium. Villages and towns were attacked, and entire families slaughtered. Some tribes believed they were punishing humans for losing touch with the natural order. Others simply enjoyed the hunt. Whatever the motivation, this bloodbath left a mark. Humans developed a deep, instinctive terror of werewolves known as the delirium. Over centuries, the Garou debated whether the killings were justifiable. Eventually, a faction realized their violence was tearing Gaia apart. They negotiated an agreement called the Concord. The tribes agreed to stop the culling, hide their existence, and focus instead on guarding the world from spiritual threats. The Impergium ended, but the scars remained, both in human memory and in the Garou's own souls. Not long after, or perhaps at the same time, depending on who you ask, the Garou fought a catastrophic war against other shapeshifters. This conflict, known as the War of Rage, pitted werewolves against the Fera, other children of Gaia, like werecats, wereravens, and werebears. The Garou wanted supremacy and demanded secrets from these siblings. When refused, they attacked. Battles turned into massacres. Whole species were driven to extinction or driven into hiding. Even today, the few survivors distrust werewolves deeply. Elders debate when the War of Rage took place. Some place it before the Concord, others after. But all agree that the Garou were the aggressors and that this war shattered alliances and left a bitterness that lingers. After the Concord, the Garou withdrew into the shadows. They no longer ruled over humanity, but instead watched from the edges, hiding in kinfolk bloodlines and sacred places called cairns. They believed secrecy would protect them and Gaia. Unfortunately, their unity did not last. The tribes, each guided by different patron spirits and philosophies, turned on one another over territory and ideology. Their infighting allowed the worm's corruption to seep deeper into the world and let the weaver's web of cities and technology spread unchecked. Humanity prospered, but also consumed the earth more greedily, unaware of the spiritual war raging around them. By the industrial era, the worm found new champions not among spirits but among humans, driven by profit. The most infamous of these allies is a corporation called Pentex. On the surface, Pentex is a private holding company with thousands of subsidiaries. It avoids public scrutiny, hides behind shell companies, and bribes its way past regulations. Beneath that mundane veneer lies a deep awareness of the supernatural and a devotion to the worm. Pentex produces pollution, poisons minds, and even creates monstrous servants called Fomori, all while the world sees its disasters as accidents or crimes without names. The Garou know Pentex is the worm's corporate face, but fighting it means confronting not only monsters, but an entire global economy. When werewolves tear apart a Pentex plant, the world calls them terrorists. When Pentex poisons a river, it is written off as an industrial accident. All of this brings us to the modern nights. By the time of the 5th edition of the game, Gaia is dying. Ice sheets collapse, seas rise, forests burn, heat waves kill millions, species vanish. The Garou, who were meant to be her champions, have failed. The prophecies of the apocalypse are no longer warnings, but descriptions of the present. Yet all hope is not lost. A new generation of Garou rises, burning with rage, but aware of the mistakes of their elders. They know they can no longer rely on secrecy or half measures. They must confront the forces of avarice and greed, ravaging the earth, be they supernatural or human. They must decide whether their rage will destroy the world or save it. They fight not for power or dominance, but for the survival of their mother. If you find yourself drawn to this story of environmental horror and spiritual warfare, don't just listen, join the fight. Explore the books, watch the videos, and share your thoughts. The world needs new legends, and the call of the wild is waiting for you.